frightening empire approaches Earth. This empire is Viltrumite, an empire that has conquered thousands of worlds. They calculate everything: the density of the atmosphere, the force of gravity, the resistance of the native population. To them, Earth was just another weak planet, ready to be purged and assimilated. They mapped the heroes, the governments, and the orbital defenses, but over the ocean and down to the darkest trenches of the Pacific, the water begins to boil. A bioluminescent blue glow cuts through the abyssal darkness. The sound of a crazed Geiger counter fills the screen. But the Viltrumites made a fatal mistake. They looked to the sky of the Earth, expecting resistance, but they forgot to look into the abyss. They did not know that the Earth does not belong to humans. This Earth has a caretaker, an ancestral king who does not bow to alien empires and who has already fought aliens. The alpha predator has awakened and he is hungry. Here, as always, it will be separated into acts or chapters to make it easier to compare the threats that Godzilla will face. So let's start with Act 1. The first line of defense of the Earth. The Guardians of the Globe and Invincible, Mark Grayson. Threat level for Godzilla is low. Godzilla emerges on the east coast of the United States. He is not attacking humanity. He is marching towards the landing signals of the alien ships. However, the Guardians of the Globe, the Immortal, Monster Girl, Black Samson, and others intercept the Titan, believing he is the vanguard of the invasion. Invincible Mark Grayson leads the attack. In the confrontation, Monster Girl, in her colossal form, tries to push Godzilla. The king of the monsters does not even slow his pace. He sweeps her away with a slight shoulder movement, throwing her 3 blocks away. The Immortal flies directly at Godzilla's eyes, delivering punches at the speed of sound. Godzilla, annoyed like someone swatting a mosquito, closes his nictitating membrane, which is hard as diamond, and hits the Immortal with his tail, breaking the sound barrier and burying the hero in the concrete. Mark Grayson panics. Seeing his fallen friends, he flies at full speed against the gigantic creature that is Godzilla, delivering a punch with all his might to Godzilla's snout. The impact creates a shockwave, but the 120-meter tall Titan merely turns his face slowly with an expression in his eyes of pure fury. Godzilla opens his mouth and a blue light radiates. Mark is swallowed by the shockwave of the atomic roar and thrown kilometers away, falling semi-conscious with his suit torn and bones fractured. Conclusion. Earth's heroes and the inexperienced Mark Grayson do not have the mass to combat the strength of this creature, strength or durability to cause any damage to Godzilla's scale armor. For the Titan, they are just annoying insects in the way of his true objective. Act 2. The Father's Fury, Omni-Man, Nolan Grayson. Threat level for Godzilla is high. Omni-Man watches from the skies. He intended to let the heroes die, but seeing Mark being crushed so easily, his paternal instinct speaks louder. Nolan breaks the sound barrier, creating a boom that shatters the glass of the entire city. Nolan says, "Nobody touches my son." In the confrontation, Nolan is not like the Guardians. He is an elite warrior. Omni-Man attacks Godzilla's gills, the only apparent weak point. His punches are like meteors, striking the Titan's flesh. Godzilla roars in pain, the radioactive blood splashing and burning Nolan's suit. Godzilla tries to grab Nolan, but the Viltrumite is too fast. Flying in a zigzag, Nolan grabs one of Godzilla's dorsal plates and tries to rip it off with pure brute force. Godzilla's plate glows in an intense blue. Godzilla channels the atomic breath, but instead of firing it, he releases a concentrated nuclear pulse through his back. The blast of pure radiation burns Nolan's skin, forcing him to drop the Titan in mid-air, panting and with severe third-degree radiation burns, realizing the terrifying truth. The physical strength of that creature rivals that of the greatest Viltrumites, and that the heat and the radiation it emits can melt the biology of his people, who are vulnerable to the extreme heat of stars. Looking at the fallen mark, Omni-Man makes a cold and tactical decision. He dives, grabs his son, and flees the battle at hypersonic speed, leaving the monster for the Empire to deal with. Conclusion: Omni-Man possesses the strength to superficially wound Godzilla and the speed to escape direct attacks. However, the emission of atomic heat proved to be a natural repellent against his biology. Act 3. The bloodthirsty veteran conquest, one of the strongest of the Empire. Threat level for Godzilla is extreme. The Empire takes note of Nolan's escape. Furious with the cowardice, the most brutal warrior of Viltrum, Conquest, descends to Earth. He lands in front of Godzilla, opening a colossal crater. Conquest says, "You made Nolan run away. Excellent. I needed a warm-up before tearing this planet in half." In the confrontation, Conquest uses no tactics. He is uninterrupted brute force. He dives through Godzilla's normal form, atomic breath, having part of his skin carbonized, but his regeneration and tenacity keep him advancing. He collides with the Titan's chest, delivering blows that crack Godzilla's sternum. The Titan is pushed back, crushing skyscrapers. Conquest flies in a spiral and pierces through Godzilla's leg like a human cannonball, causing a severe wound. Godzilla falls to his knees. Conquest smiles and flies up, preparing to descend and pierce the monster's skull. But the air around Godzilla begins to distort. The blue smoke on his back turns into an incandescent orange. His burning form is fully exposed. The asphalt around the Titan melts into lava instantly. Conquest dives, but as soon as he enters a 100-meter radius of Godzilla, his skin begins to blister. The Viltrumites can fight near the sun, but they cannot withstand the core of the star. Godzilla's burning form reaches temperatures higher than the solar surface. When Conquest tries to punch the Titan's face, his cybernetic arm melts, and the flesh of his hand turns to ashes. Godzilla raises his head and releases 2 thermonuclear pulse waves. The first disintegrates Conquest's armor. The second, focused and devastating, hits the warrior head-on. Conquest screams as his cells try to regenerate the atomic disintegration, but fail. The Invincible veteran is reduced to dust and calcined bones that the wind scatters. Conclusion: Conquest would be fast and strong enough to kill Godzilla's normal form if the Titan did not have a thermal response. The burning form directly exploits the Viltrumite vulnerability to absolute heat and radiation, making hand-to-hand combat impossible for the alien. Act 4. The empire falls from the sky. The great regent Thrag and the Viltrumite army. Threat level for Godzilla is extreme to existential. The death of Conquest sends a shockwave signal to the orbital fleet. Thrag, the supreme leader of Viltrum, realizes that Earth harbors a god of destruction. He does not send just another warrior. He descends with all available Viltrumites, hundreds of soldiers flying like a shower of red and white meteors. In the confrontation, the burning form comes with a price. It drains Godzilla's vital energy. After killing Conquest, Godzilla's plates lose their red and yellow glow. He is exhausted. The Viltrumite army hits the ground like kinetic missiles. They attack in a swarm. Dozens of them tear Godzilla's skin simultaneously. Thrag personally strikes Godzilla's jaw, temporarily dislocating it with a blow of incalculable force. The king of the monsters is bleeding, pierced by hundreds of warriors traveling at ultrasonic speeds. He realizes that brute force will not be enough against the perfect swarm. Using his last ounce of strength, Godzilla uses his atomic ray to open a gigantic hole in the Earth's crust, descending straight into a pocket of pure hollow Earth energy. Thrag flashes a wide smile on his face, believing the monster fled to die. He orders his soldiers to follow him. Minutes of silence pass, then the entire Earth trembles. It is not an ordinary tremor. It is a seismic anomaly that alters the local gravity of the abyss. A spiral beam in a magenta-pink hue cuts through the skies, instantly obliterating 3 warships in Earth's orbit. Godzilla, now in his evolved form, emerges from the crater. He is leaner, and his dorsal plates look like razor-sharp, glowing pink crystals. By absorbing the primordial radiation of the hollow Earth, he lost excess mass, multiplying his agility, muscle strength, and energy reservoir 20 times over. The Viltrumites attack again, but the response has changed. Evolved, Godzilla is absurdly fast. When a group tries to attack him from the flanks, Godzilla spins and grabs 2 Viltrumites in mid-air, crushing them in his claws and throwing them against the others. Thrag dives for a lethal attack, but Godzilla uses his new agility to dodge and counterattack with a whip-like tail strike. Thrag blocks, but the impact breaks the arms of the Great Regent, hurling him through a mountain range. The evolved form's atomic breath is not just fire, it is a concentrated spiral plasma laser. Godzilla fires it like a sword sweeping the sky. Every Viltrumite touched by the pink beam of the atomic breath is almost instantly evaporated. Their super-dense Viltrumite biology is unable to withstand this superheated atomic breath. Seeing half of his elite army turned into an ash rain, and with his own bones crushed, Thrag recognizes the impossible. Viltrum has lost. Thrag, choking over the radio, set in blood, calls for a retreat and to abandon the planet immediately. Conclusion. A swarm of hundreds of Viltrumites led by Thrag would kill any base version of Godzilla. The evolved form was Godzilla's only salvation, providing the speed necessary to fight at near supersonic reaction times and a super lethal atomic breath capable of evaporating Viltrumite flesh almost instantly, nullifying the advantage of numbers. The sky darkens with the trail of the few surviving Viltrumites fleeing into the depths of space. They will leave a record in their imperial databases. Earth is under the jurisdiction of the biological apex of the universe. The cityscapes are devastated, mountains were flattened, and oceans were boiled in this fight. But the earth remains, evolved. Godzilla raises his head. His roar echoes across the entire planet, reaching even outer space. A clear promise to any empire, god, or alien who dares to look at his world again. Here, only the king rules, and that king is the king of the Titans and of all creatures, and the Alpha Titan, Godzilla.